What's up, everybody? It's your friendly neighborhood TRT, brah. It's late Sunday, August the 9th, but I wanted to touch base on a topic that came to pretty much everybody's attention this weekend. Anyone who follows fitness world much at all, or is on Twitter or Instagram, follows any fitness people, probably came to your attention about this kid, Bignattydaddy. Tyler. Tyler is 15 years old, and basically flat out said he uses multiple anabolic steroids. Deca, even said he uses Tren. So obviously there's been a huge reaction. Most people getting to the point of, hey, this kid's gonna fuck himself up for the rest of his life. You know, Typical things, and thankfully most of the internet is in unison on this, and the fact that this is really a dumb idea. The interesting thing about it to me is more from a social standpoint, a sociological standpoint. Why is this happening? Why are we seeing this? Why is this kid, and granted, it's one kid, but I guarantee you if there's one, it's like a roach. You see one, and there's thousands more. Why now? Why? What would bring someone at that age to make that choice? It has a lot to do with media and just seeing this constant flux of images, of idealized bodies. That's a big deal. It's harmful for young women, it's harmful for men, it's harmful for full-grown adults. That stuff gets ingrained into your brain, and you can't help but see the flaws in yourself, and see the problems there that you perceive, or the things you perceive as problems. Okay, so getting a little more specific, who's to blame? Who would this person look up to? Well, he's clearly stated he looks up to Boston Lloyd. Boston Lloyd, for those of you who don't know, was a guy who a couple of years ago, a pro bodybuilder, who flat out came out and said, yes, I use steroids, and he uses a fuck ton of steroids, a ton. He basically broke down everything he uses on a day-to-day basis, what he uses when he's bulking, what he uses when he's cutting, what he's using when he's prepping for a show. He went out and won a pro show. I believe at this point he's retired from bodybuilding, and now he's just training, which, as far as I can tell, his training pretty much starts and ends with telling people what kind of gear to use. And I've got to commend him in a way for being brave enough to come out and say, hey, yeah, this is what I do, this is the truth of the industry. He's made a name for himself. I suppose he has a viable career with the training aspect at this point. Whatever. I'm not going to judge anybody for that. Like I said, I do have to commend him in a way for being brave enough, brazen enough to come out and state the facts about that. But he is influencing young people like this. This guy says he's his role model. He doesn't care. He even said that Boston Lloyd talked to him and told him to not to care what anybody else says and just chase your dreams and do what you want to do. Okay, so dig a little deeper. Where did that attitude come from? We can go back to Ziz. Everybody knows Ziz. Even people who don't know Ziz know Ziz. He was the ultimate exemplar of the YOLO generation. This guy who went from a nerdy gamer, skinny, to within 2 to 3 years built like a Greek god, literally, and then dies in Thailand at 22 due to a lethal cocktail of illicit drugs and steroids in his system. At the same time, he is still revered by a lot of people. And a lot of the people who looked up to him when he was alive at 22 a few years ago were probably 15, 16 years old then, and they've got on stuff. Maybe they had younger siblings, now got on stuff too. Look, never before has the term, "this is why we can't have nice things," been more applicable. From my perspective, from what my channel is about, is troubling because, in a way, this is why the government, FDA, and everybody else is so hell-bent on stigmatizing steroids, testosterone replacement. Why so many people are so against it. Because when you start showing the positive benefits for full-grown adults, the teenage mind, as untapped as it is in knowledge and world experience, will only see the benefits. It won't see the risks, won't see the things that you have to be concerned about, and won't see the impact on your future. I can honestly say, if I at 15 years old, because I'm not a big guy now, I'm 5'7" and about 150 pounds. In high school, I was 5'7" and about 110. And if somebody in high school, and I was a good athlete too, if someone when I was 15 would have told me that I could get steroids and I could put on 30, 40 pounds of muscle and be that much better of an athlete, I would have done it in a second. I don't know where this kid is getting this stuff. A lot of people have asked, where are the parents? Well, it's entirely possible that the parents are in on this. Maybe he's a single parent, only one of the parents is helping. But where he gets this stuff, I have no idea. Where he gets the money to run this stuff, I have no idea. He could be completely full of shit and he's just taking pro hormones that he orders off of eBay. Either way, it doesn't really matter. The point is that at 15 years old, if you look at the pictures, you know, the kid is big for his age. 5'8", 210 pounds. He's probably about 25% body fat at this point, but he's big. He's carrying a lot of muscle mass. Way more muscle mass than a 15-year-old should be able to carry naturally, most of us, except for the genetic freaks out there. It's disturbing because we do know what it's going to do to his body. You know, he at that age, his body is still developing full sexual characteristics. It's very, very likely that he shuts down his own natural testosterone production for the entirety of the rest of his life because he's not developing properly. God only knows what other problems it's going to cause to the rest of his body. Could cause thyroid problems, could cause heart problems, could cause brain problems. Parts of your brain don't develop fully until you're in your mid to late 20s. And yet these hormones run through every part of your body. You have androgen receptors in your brain, if you didn't know. It's troublesome, it's very scary. I hope that he makes the choice to stop doing this stuff if he is doing it. If he's not, I really hope that he's got medical supervision for this thing. It's troubling, it's frightening. Again, this is why we can't have nice things. This is why we can't view anabolic steroids the way that we view liposuction or Botox injections for women, nose jobs. It should be a cosmetic medical treatment, but this is why it isn't. Because our country specifically, and most modern industrialized nations with huge media presence, are flashing these images constantly, especially focused at young people, of physical idealism. Bignattydaddy's not the only one out there. He's not going to be the last one. I hope for his sake that he's not the first tragedy that comes out of it. And to anybody out there who supports him, you know, you really need to check where your brain's at And Boston Lloyd in particular, like I said, I had a lot of respect for the way that you came out and exposed a lot of the truth about the bodybuilding industry in such a blatant, frank way, and you're able to speak about it in such earnestness. But supporting a 15-year-old on this stuff, it's almost unconscionable. If he hadn't already made the decision to do it, you know, if he truly had conversations with you about this stuff, I don't know the timeline, if he talked to you before or after, but either way, as a full-grown adult and someone who has experience with this stuff, way more knowledge than the vast majority of us do, including me, you know good and well that people don't do this stuff in a healthy manner unless they've put in the time and the work and the years of maximizing and building a strong natural base to build off of and to expound upon. This video is kind of rambling at this point. I just wanted to get those points across. Bignattydaddy, if you see this, which you probably won't, I hope for the best for you. I would suggest that you get real acquainted with channels like mine and Big No-Nos, because unfortunately, best case scenario, TRT is where you're headed, because at some point, you know, you're going to have some major issues with this, more than likely. So, anyways, hope you guys got something out of this video, and I hope it wasn't too much of a ranting, preachy diatribe. You guys have a wonderful Monday, and I'll talk to you again real soon. Peace.